Tuesday of the Other June by Norma Fox Mazer. Be good, be good, be good, be good, my Junie, my mother sang as she combed my hair. A song, a story, a croon, a plea. It's just you and me, two women alone in the world, June, darling of my heart. We have enough troubles getting by. We surely don't need a single one more, so keep your sweet self out of fighting and all that bad stuff. People can be little-hearted, but turn the other cheek. Smile at the world, and the world will surely smile back. We stood in front of the mirror as she combed my hair, combed and brushed and smoothed. Her head came just above mine. She said when I grew another inch, she'd stand on a stool to brush my hair. I'm not giving up this pleasure. And she laughed her long, honey laugh. My mother was April, and my grandmother had been May, and I was June. And someday, said my mother, you'll have a daughter of your own. And what will you name her? January, I'd yell when I was little. February, no, November. My mother would laugh her honey laugh. She had little emerald eyes that warmed me like the sun. Every day when I went to school, she went to work. Sometimes I stop what I'm doing, she said, and I lay down my tools and I stop everything, because all I can think about is you. Wondering what you're doing and if you need me. Now, Junie, if anyone ever bothers you, okay, then I'll walk away, run away, and come on home as fast as my feet'll take me, I recited. Yes, you come to me, and you just bring your trouble, because I'm here on this earth to love you and take care of you. I was safe with her. Still, sometimes I woke up at night and heard footsteps slowly creeping up the stairs. It wasn't my mother. She was asleep in the bed across the room. So it was robbers, thieves, and murderers creeping slowly, slowly, slowly toward my bed. I stuffed my hand into my mouth. If I screamed and woke her, she'd be tired at work tomorrow. The robbers and thieves filled the warm darkness and slipped across the floor more quietly than cats. Rigid under the covers, I stared at the shifting dark and bit my knuckles and never knew when I would fall asleep again. In the morning, we sang in the kitchen. Bill Grogan's goat was feeling fine, ate 3 red shirts right off the line. I made sandwiches for our lunches and she made pancakes for breakfast, but all she ate was 1 pancake and a cup of coffee. I gotta fly. Can't be late. I wanted to be rich and take care of her. She worked too hard. Her pretty hair had gray in it that she joked about. Someday, I said, I'll buy you a real house and you'll never have to work in a pot factory again. Such delicious plans, she said. She took the windows to see if they were locked. Do you have your key? I lifted it around the chain from my neck. And you'll come right home from school, and I won't light fires or let strangers into the house, and I won't tell anyone on the phone that I'm here alone, I finished for her. I know, I'm just your old worrywart mother. She kissed me twice, once on each cheek. But you are my June, my only June, the only June. She was wrong. There was another June. I met her when we stood next to each other at the edge of the pool at the first day of swimming class at the community center. What's your name? She had a deep, growly voice. June. What's yours? She stared at me. June. Hey, we have the same name. No, we don't. June is my name, and I don't give you permission to use it. Your name is Fish Eyes. She pinched me hard. You got it, Finch Eyes? Fish Eyes? The next Tuesday, the other June again stood next to me at the edge of the pool. What's your name? June? Wrong. Your name is Fish Eyes. June. Oh, Fish Eyes, you are really stupid. And she shoved me into the pool. The swimming teacher looked up, frowning from her chart. No one in the water yet. Later, in the locker room, I dressed quickly and I wrapped my wet suit in the towel. The other June pulled on her jeans. You guys see that bathing suit Fish Eyes was wearing? Her mother found it in a trash can. She did not. The other June grabbed my fingers and twisted. Where'd she find your bathing suit? She bought it. Let me go. Poor little stupid Fish Eyes is crying. Oh, boo-hoo-hoo, poor little Fish Eyes. After that, everybody called me Fish Eyes, and every Tuesday, wherever I was, there was also the other June. On the edge of the pool, the locker room, in the water, she swam alongside me, blowing and huffing and knocking into me. In the locker room, she stepped on my feet, pinched my arms, hid my blouse, and knotted all my braids together. She had large, square teeth. She was shorter than I was, but heavier, with bigger bones and square hands. And if I met her outside on the street carrying her bathing suit and towel, she'd walk towards me, smiling a square, friendly smile. Oh, well, if it isn't Fish Eyes. Then she'd punch me, blam, her whole solid weight hitting me. I didn't know what to do about her. She was training me like a dog. After a few weeks of this, she only had to look at me and only had to growl, I'm gonna get you, Fish Eyes, for my heart to slink like a whipped dog down into my stomach. My arms were covered with bruises. When my mother noticed, I made up a story about tripping on the sidewalk. My weeks were no longer Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Tuesday was now called Awful Day. Wednesday was Bad Day. The Tuesday bad feelings were still there. And Thursday was Better Day, and Friday was Safe Day. Saturday was Good Day. Sunday was Too Soon Day. And Monday was nothing but the day before Awful Day. I tried to slow down time, especially on the weekends. I stayed close to my mother, doing everything with her. Shopping, cooking, cleaning, going to the laundromat. Oh, sweetie, go play with your friends. No, I'd rather be with you. I wouldn't look at the clock or listen to the radio. They were always telling you the date and time. I did special magic things to keep the day from going away, rapping my knuckles 6 times on the bathroom door, 6 times a day, and never ever touching the chip place on my bureau. But I always woke up to the day before Tuesday, and always, no matter how many times I circled the worn spot in the living room rug or counted 25 cracks in the ceiling, Monday disappeared, and once again, it was Tuesday. The other June got so bored with calling me Fish Eyes. Buffalo Brain came next, but as soon as everybody knew that, she renamed me Turkey Nose. Now at night, it wasn't robbers creeping up the stairs, but other June coming to torment me. When I finally fell asleep, I dreamed of kicking her, punching her, biting, pinching. In the morning, I remembered my dreams and felt brave and strong. And then I remembered all the things my mother had taught me and told me. Be good, be good, be good. It's just us 2 women, alone in the world. Oh, but if it weren't, if my father weren't long gone, if we had somebody else to fall back on, if my mother's mother and daddy weren't all dead all these years, if my father's daddy wanted to know us instead of being glad to forget us, then I would have punched the other June with frisky heart. I would have grabbed her arm at poolside and bitten her like the dog she'd made of me. One night when my mother came home from work, she said, Junie, listen to this. We're moving. Alaska, I thought. Florida, Arizona, someplace far away and wonderful. Someplace without the other June. Wait till you hear this deal. We're going to be caretakers, troubleshooters for an 8-family apartment building. 56 Blue Hill Street. Not janitors. We don't do the heavy work. April and June, Troubleshooters Incorporated. If a tenant has a complaint or problem, she comes to us and either we take care of it or we call the janitor for service. And for that little bit of work, we get to live rent-free. She swept me around in a dance. Okay, you like it? I do. So, not anywhere else, really. All the same, maybe too far to go to swimming class? Can we move right away, today? Oh, give me a break, sweetie. We gotta pack, do 1,000 things. I gotta line up somebody with a truck to help us. 6 weeks. Saturday, the 15th. She circled it on the calendar. It was the Saturday after the last day of swimming class. Soon we had boxes lying everywhere, filled with clothes and towels and glasses wrapped in newspaper. And bit by bit we cleared the rooms, leaving only what we needed now. The dining room staggered on a bunch-up rug. Our bureaus inched to the front door like patient cows. And on the calendar in the kitchen, my mother marked off the days until we moved, but the only days I thought about were Tuesdays. Awful days. Nothing else was real except too fast pacing of time, moving towards each Tuesday, away from Tuesday, toward Tuesday. And it seemed to me that this would go on forever, that Tuesdays would come forever, and I would be forever trapped at the side of the pool, the other June whispering buffalo brain fish eyes turkey nose into my ear, while she ground her elbow into my side and smiled her square smile at the swimming teacher. And then it ended. It was the last day of swimming class, the last Tuesday. We all passed our tests, and as if in celebration, the other June only pinched me twice. And now, our swimming teacher said, all of you are ready for the advanced class, which starts in 1 month. I got a sign-up slip here. Please put your name down before you leave. Everyone but me crowded round. I went to the locker room and pulled on my clothes as fast as possible. The other June burst through the door just as I was leaving. Goodbye, I yelled, and good riddance to bad trash. Before she could pinch me again, I ran past her and then ran all the way home going, goodbye, 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 and good riddance to that bad trash. Later, my mother carefully untied the blue ribbon around my swimming class diploma. Well, look at this. Well, isn't this wonderful? You're on your way. You might turn into an Olympic swimmer. You never know what life will bring. I don't want to take more lessons. Oh, sweetie, it's great to be a good swimmer. But then looking into my face, she said, No. Don't worry. You don't have to. The next morning, I woke up hungry for the first time in weeks. Hey, no more swimming lessons. No more bad days and awful days. No more Tuesdays of the other June. In the kitchen, I made hot cocoa to go with my mother's corn muffins. It's Wednesday, Mom, I said, stirring the cocoa. My favorite day. Since when? Since this morning. I turned on the radio so I could hear the announcer tell the time, the temperature, and the day. Thursday for breakfast I made cinnamon toast. Friday my mother made pancakes, and on Saturday before we moved we ate the last slices of bread and cleaned out the peanut butter jar. Some breakfast, Tilly said. Hello, you must be June. She shook my hand. She was a friend of my mother's from work. She wore big hoop earrings, sandals, and a skirt as dazzling as a rainbow. She came in a truck with John to help us move our things. John shouted cheerfully at me, So you're moving! An enormous man, with face covered with little brown bumps. Was he afraid his voice wouldn't travel the distance from his mouth to my ear? You lookin' at my moles, he shouted, as he heaved our big green flowered chair down the stairs. Don't worry, they don't bite, ha ha ha. Behind him came my mother and Tilly, balancing a bureau between them, and behind them I carried a lamp and the round flowered Mexican tray that was my mother's favorite. She found it at a garage sale and said it was close to as foreign travel as we would ever get. The night before, we loaded our car, stuffing our bags and boxes in there until there was barely a room for the two of us. But it was only when we were in the car that we drove past Abdo's grocery, where they always gave us credit, when I turned for the last look at our street. It was only then I truly understood. We were going to go live somewhere else, in another apartment, in another place mysteriously called Blue Hill Street. Tilly's truck followed our car. Oh, I'm so excited, my mother said. She laughed. You'd think we were going across the country. Our old car wheezed up the long, steep hill, Blue Hill Street. I looked from one side to the other, trying to see everything. My mother drove over the crest of the hill. And now, ta-da, our new home. Which house? Which one? I looked out the window, and what I saw was the other June. She was sprawled out on the stoop of a pink house, lounging back on her elbows, legs outspread, her jaws working on a wad of gum. I slid down in the seat, but it was too late. I was sure she had seen me. My mother turned into the driveway, next to a big white building with a tiny porch. She leaned on the steering wheel. "You see that window there? That's our living room window. And that one over there, that's your bedroom." So we went into the house, down a dim, cool hall. In our new apartment, the wooden floors clicked under our shoes, and my mother showed me everything. Her voice echoed into the empty rooms. I followed her around in a daze. Had I imagined seeing the other June? Maybe I'd seen another girl who looked like her, a double. That could happen. "Oh, yo, where do you want this chair?" John appeared in the doorway. We brought in boxes and bags and beds and stopped only to eat pizza and to drink orange juice from the carton. "Well, June's so quiet. Do you think she'll adjust all right?" I heard Tilly say to my mother. "Oh, definitely. She'll make a wonderful adjustment. She's just getting used to things." But if the other June lived on the same street I did, I would never get used to things. That night, I slept in my own bed, with my own pillow and blanket, but with floors that creaked in strange voices, until walls with cracks I didn't recognize. I didn't feel either happy or unhappy. It was as if I was waiting for something. Monday, when the principal of Blue Hill Street left me in Mr. Morrissey's room, I knew what I'd been waiting for. In that room full of strange kids, there was one person that I knew. She smiled her square smile, raised her hand and said, "Oh, she can sit next to me, Mr. Morrissey." "Well, that's very nice of you, June M. All right, June T, take your seat. I'll try not to get you two Junes mixed up." I sat down next to her. She pinched my arm. "Good riddance to bad trash," she mocked. I was back in the Tuesday swimming class, but now it was worse. Every day would be awful day. The pinching had already started. Soon I knew, on the playground, in the halls, kids had passed me, grinning, "Hiya, fish eyes." The other June followed me around during recess that day, droning in my ear, "You are my slave. You must do everything I say. I am your master. Say it. Say, 'Yes, master. You are my master.'" I pressed my lips together, clapped my hands over my ears, but without hope. Wasn't it only a matter of time before I said the hateful words? "How was school?" my mother said that night. "Okay." She put a pile of towels on a bureau drawer. "Try not to be sad about missing your old friends, sweetie. There'll be new ones." The next morning, the other June was waiting for me when I left the house. "Did your mother get that blouse in the garbage dump?" She butted me, kind of shoving me against a tree. "Don't you speak any more, fish eyes?" Grabbing my chin in her hands, she pried open my mouth. "Oh, I thought you lost your tongue." We went on to school, and I sank down in my seat, my head in my arms. "June T, are you all right?" Mr. Morrissey asked. I nodded. My head was almost too heavy to lift. The other June went to the pencil sharpener. Round and round she whirled that handle. Walking back, looking at me, she held the 3 sharp pencils. They are like 3 little knives. Someone knocked on the door. Mr. Morrissey went in the hall. Paper planes burst into the air, flying desk to desk. Someone turned on a transistor radio. And the other June, coming closer, smiled and licked her lips, like a cat preparing to gulp down a mouse. I remembered my dream of kicking her, punching her, biting her like a dog. Then my mother spoke quickly in my ear. "Turn the other cheek, my Junie. Smile at the world, and the world will surely smile back." But I had turned the other cheek, and it was slapped. I had smiled, and the world hadn't smiled back. I couldn't run home as fast as my feet would take me. I had to stay in school, and in school there was the other June. Every morning there would be the other June, and every afternoon, and every day, all day, there would be the other June. She frisked down the aisle, stabbing the pencils in the air toward me. A boy stood up at his desk and bowed. "My fans," he said, "I greet you." My arm twitched and throbbed as if the other June's pencils had already poked through the skin. She came closer, smiling her Tuesday smile. "No," I whispered. No! The word took wings and flew to my feet in front of the other June. No! It flew on my mouth into her face, surprised face. The boy in the desk turned towards us. You said something, my devoted fans? No, I said to the other June. Oh, no. No, no, no. No more. I pushed the hand away that held her pencils. The other June's eyes opened. They popped wide, like the eyes of somebody in a cartoon. Made me laugh. The boy in the desk laughed, and then the other kids were laughing too. No, I said again, because it felt good to say it. No, 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 no. And I leaned toward the other June, and I put my finger against her chest. Her cheeks turned red, and she squawked something. It sounded like, "Yeah, you." And she stepped back. She stepped away from me. The door banged, the airplanes disappeared, and Mr. Morrissey walked to his desk. Okay, let's get back to work. Kevin Clark, how about it? And Kevin jumped out of his desk, and Mr. Morrissey picked up a piece of chalk. All right, class. He stopped and looked at me. And the other June. Hey, you two Junes. What's going on there? I tried it again. My finger right against her chest, and then the words, no more. And she stepped back another step. I sat down at my desk. June M? Mr. Morrissey said. She turned around and staring at him with that big-eyed cartoon look. After a moment, she sat down at her desk with a loud slapping sound. Even Mr. Morrissey laughed. And sitting at my desk, twirling my braids, I knew that this was the last Tuesday of the other June.